President, we invite una for make una come and make una waiting for say through in opening remarks. Your Excellency the President.
Thank you very much, the Press Secretary, the Honorable Vice President, Chief Minister, Ministers of Government, senior government officials present here, the civil society community in Sierra Leone, good afternoon. Yes, today's engagement will take the form of just me making an opening statement, which is my own account of how I view things generally, and definitely we want a reaction, and so that we go able to begin piece together the things that we're missing, obviously, they make Salon de Go who say enough for go. I want to start by saying a big thank you to all of you for the various efforts that we are going to make for keep this country together, for keep the government in check, and for also for contribute towards development. That are part of a democratic process. And it is not always pleasant when there is some person or a group that criticize you, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes very constructive, and sometimes it reminds we of the things that we don't omit because we are a human organization. But it is important because we are human organizations and we can tend to go in different directions at different times, forget a good group of people we will say this government not able so, or we say they go in my own opinion, because everybody gets again interest when they seek and they try for pursuit. We all recall on the 10th of August last week the very ugly incident which happened there. We're not FIBA, we as a country, and we don't look very ugly. Collectively, with all what we want to do and waiting governments they don't do, including mine, we don't build an image of a community, of a country we're resilient, of a country we don't take destiny in our hand, and as a country we don't decide say never again. That ugly past we say we're so cruel to one another that people then they ask, are these human beings? That was a decision we made. And as difficult as it is, variously, we all done to make that effort for change that image, for take away that stigma of a brutal civil war, Ebola, corruption, and all the things that we can make society livable before. But in just a few hours last week, all of that was thrown out of the window by a group of Sierra Leoneans. No leadership, nobody not claim leadership, because I shall say what happened is so shameful and so bad that nobody will claim leadership. But of course, with the beauty of technology today, we know the one way they did this. Not the suspicion, the incitement, and all what happened take place now in cyberspace. And in the cyberspace, you leave your footprint. When you say something, it gets registered, and it can be stored and reproduced at different times. All of this was organized there. So, we're not there against protest, which is part of the freedoms that we would enjoy in a democracy. In fact, me not only believe, say, therefore, with freedom, I don't take part for make sure, say, I free the space even further. Especially some of when journalists then. Which you all man be afraid for take out the seditious libel law. I believe say for free society, I take that off. But every freedom also gets responsibility. Why we get right for protest freely, peacefully, with identification, knowing that saying that them people here they come up for protest. You also get applicable restrictions. If you see besides saying you protest today, if I the pass me enough for above me, I for go pass and go buy me Mina and Bonga me I go cook. Enough for above me. You get the right for Timothy for protest peacefully. This not been followed because of the actions of a few people, mostly very young, vulnerable people around specific parts of the country. In small numbers, we image who done the Tet for bill change in few hours. And we all get a task again collectively for tell the world say that was a simple what you would call episodic eruption, and that we could change that image because it's not good for we, it's not good for people going forward. So for make we could able to deal with this situation, that make me talk say we need for engage. Some people talk about dialogue, but dialogue is a dyad between two groups of people or individuals. And people have not owned up to this particular act. And it's difficult, therefore, for really identify them, for sitting with them. But you've been in a group that is present all the time, when they all side, when they actively take part in the democracy that we try to develop, because even the Americans and the British and all the other big democracies are still working on their democracies. We see what happened January 6th. That was nobody never imagined that to happen. Now America, you see the picture today, you see say no, this is not happening, or it did not even happen. This is how I look at this out of 10. Somebody asked me, how do you deal with this situation after? How you see this? I just say a blip. And we for treat it that way. That is not us. It does not look like us, and it should not be our collective image. We are a good people, Sierra Leoneans. I think, if I can accuse you all, including myself, we the good people can sit down with the bad people and they prevail. And so the actions of a few people don't make me look like some of the worst people. There are protests for cost of living around the world because things are tough. Around the world, inflation don't reach 40-year high in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, some of the wealthiest economies. It is just beyond the control of some of the most powerful governments. What about we the go big, the same government? So can help we? Why are they travel? And for go big. And for go big. If I meet all night when I visit the travel, Bond is a beautiful place to go on vacation and go sit on the Bond. Number 2 is a beautiful place for go there and no need for go. But in the first place, one of the major international financial organizations, the IMF, the program we don't stop. We inherit austerity. There was no program with this country because of bad governance. I think, if I don't forget, it took us 8 months in action, in reforms, in waiting for Medenkiwi, a clean bill of health, we make other financial institutions. It took me to go to the headquarters, the World Bank. I cannot sit in the comfort of my office and able to achieve that. You want big, you sit down here, say, well, can't give me this? Namibia, the most beautiful country in the world. When other countries, other leaders are present constantly in these places, presenting their case. I had to do marketing. It's not my forte. It's never been, nor has it been my discipline, but I needed to serve this country. I needed to clean up the image. And I needed to go to certain capitals. So when people want to talk, we get statutory obligations, travel, so they make. We can say, maybe come up on the UN, no, never go UN again. No come up on ECOWAS, no, never go there again. No come up on AU, no, never go there again. No, we don't talk to China for, no, never go there again. No, forget what EU. Where do we stand? Are we part of the international community? No. Sierra Leoneans will talk about travel as if it is a pleasure. It is not. But it is part of the duties of the head of state. Who say you can't be the president? If you're not present there, nobody knows about you. Nobody gets to hear your story. In your first term, we all, when a good neighbor there. When somebody moves in an area, the new person, you are expected to go around and meet. I don't come home, especially if the person may be there was not a bad person. You need to tell them, say, you know, I'm a good neighbor, and that you mean well, and that when I will live in harmony, may they know you. So even when you know they will help you. They will help you to kill them. I had to do these words. If I grab Aguna Harvard, it is because they invite me. That is a great institution of learning in the world, preeminent. They don't invite lightly, they don't invite everybody. If I go to MIT, they say, can't talk to me, we admire what they do. It is because they see say salon don't even change. And when you go to that place, they not sell no more you sell. The last time we go, the prosthesis, bionic prosthesis, when they do, the project when they don't start, then decide they will start, forget, which is the first place where they will take as a site could be Sierra Leone, $24 million. An officer spent $50,000 for body stuff. $24 million. I asked the woman, why you want for? He said, this is what they do, you know, even in the United States. He said, I saw you. I see you talk. I see the passion. And I make a one for start in a salon. And I know say, when I get people, they wait in this service. That is just one travel. Partnership for education. If the world they gather, they say, you don't make so much effort for boost the support for education. We want for make you come. We want for listen to you. Why you put this energy? Why are you so passionate about education? Spread this, infect others. Ladies and gentlemen, it is just but right that I go. If the world decides for, and after where we don't make a priority, they self-recognize it, that small country don't provide leadership. They don't show commitment, and they are going ahead with major reforms and investment in education. in spite or despite the COVID-19, we need to recognize them. That is why they invited me to co-chair the UNESCO Secretary General, Director General, and say this is a meeting now for prepare way for the United Nations Secretary General in meeting. Now you the co-chair. This is recognition. And some of them also now when they talk about education, now when they help me for spread this, this is bad. So when I take credit, I know I have people I share that credit with. People they put them out, me one not be able to spread this. Some of them the organizations they own at the head, education, human capital development, and part of it when they talk about them more passionately than me. So you are partners, and I'm happy for that. And I want to say thank you, and I want to encourage others. We cannot move from where we are. We say we don't care, we say go. As a nation, who forget about education if we not take education seriously. None of you will be sitting here without education. I have a humble background. I'm daily Chakomot. I'm not for most of you. We had no reason. When our colleagues, when I started, most of them, you see them now, you're not going to recognize them. Why are you here? Education. Me don't see the benefit. And I want to share it with every single human. That is why I have passion for education. I cannot go dropping, pots or this car wash, I put money in and I put for the key. But I know say waiting and they do. If we are all support a work, we all know say that the most powerful weapon that we will give this nation. Sierra Leone was once they called the Athens of West Africa. Why? Because of the brain power, the energy over the put. Somebody will be the commode paper and I go to Cambridge, then they ask you. Then they question them. We reduce suicide, say we reach that point, usai with the support to begin the for spy for O level. Parent they give money, the teacher hold the money, they provide the with this, they create a whole value chain from WAEC to the PK inside the classroom. Then the technology, the phone for downloads, the answer, not only the question. That is sweet. That is how far we have gone down. We are fighting all of this. No level of decadence, no reach. The day when we hear that, it bring me, I had to get up again to say, no, we have to fight this. Because I don't believe, say, I've been there in this country, say, this they happen. A value chain from WAEC to the beginning. We are killing them. We are killing us. We young future. We are fighting all of this. At the same time, with the fight for keep the economy on track. Nobody will talk say salary don't go 3-4 months. In those days when the economy is supposed to run fine, we will go 3-4 months. They don't pay salaries. We keep salaries constant. We invest in education. We keep the health system running. It is not the perfect. It cannot be perfect in 4 years. Nations have had to work for hundreds of years. And even if you go to the nation and they describe the health system, the infrastructure, that is the human being. You go fix it and not do nothing. We are up to a very great beginning. We will recognize that and continue for work. So when we pay more attention to politics rather than development, that is our greatest fault as a nation. We are so polarized. We only see things in red or green. Never green, white, and blue. So, the kind things we've been back on violence. There's room for protest. There was a time as opposition leader, I knew I had the youths on my side. I never used that negatively. I could move things in this country for don't create problem. But I decided to be on the right part of history. If I moved out of here, I'm not being intended for a good PhD in the first place. I've always decided I was not going to do that. I say, before I do, I'll go keep Mr. Busey. Give them a space. After I knew the election itself was rigged. And those who were involved know that the 2012 election was won for the sake of peace. I see some intellectual dishonesty in some people when they try to take me away, take credit away from me for peace process. Nobody sent me to go and fetch for the Sanko. Nobody gave me money. The same fly where the fly, and as well he fly. I said, I will locate him and bring him out. And I brought him out. That was how we started the peace process. That was how we had an interlocutor. So today we did in this milieu of peace with the benefit. People forget. And some people, when they really want to be dishonest, they say, Mother was not involved in that. In fact, he not played a role. For somebody we're going to my hometown and kill anybody who looks like me, and kill, and I had to make the sacrifice. I said, I will talk to him, may not kill the other people there. I shook hands with him. Then tell me, say, I'm a family. Me and you look alike. They say, Mr. Senarebu, call me any name. I have fought for my country and we continue to fight. I fought at the front, I will fight from behind this desk and continue until I can no longer. The Lord calls me back. Now don't make a tell and say, the one that way don't start this trouble. People thought I was going to come with so much anger and go after people. I'm not that type. My preoccupation is my country. How can we make Sierra Leone a better place? But if you come and you want to disturb the peace, we have promised and we are going to deliver on that. The one that we're responsible, we will seek them anywhere using the laws of our state to punish them. So we have to account. You cannot do this to a state. You know, go kill the company in this way. You are so vexed by yourself because you wear uniform, the symbol of the state. He dey chop am, he don't die. He or she is no longer alive. He dey cut and he dey set fire burn. So many years after the Civil War, nearly 2 decades. Is that a protest? People are protesting as I speak for cost of living. They will hold the prices. They will talk about inflation. Ours was Mother Dear for Go. Mother Dear for Go. I don't say the date. You have the weapon. The ballot. Before, when I know the last time, we be the big forget the date for election at this country. 1 year in advance, I'm transparent. I don't have to say it. When I say I know the talk, but my actions speak louder than the talk on our actor. If I'm one for the manipulate, they say today when I for the big, they go where the date, where the this. The recommendations then we will send in, we'll put into bill, we'll send Parliament, the elections thing. These were things that have been recommended by our partners who have observed our election in the past 2012, 20, they don't pack it, nobody knows. Those are the things we will put inside that bill. It was not the recommendation, just government get presented. So not to SNPP original proposals of Mother Bill. We don't make the date open. You hate Mother Bill so much, you want to change him the 24th of June has already been declared. We should be preparing for election. We should be bringing policies out. Bring alternative policies for, say, free education or good. Freeing the women folk, supporting them to be part, an equal part of what they do, fine. Bring back the death penalty. Bring back the seditious libel law. Restrict the space. I have opened up the space. We are bringing our women folk on board. We are supporting the children to be better than we are because we all the grown up. That action should speak better than anything English or Creole or wherever we talk to them. These are the efforts, and they don't begin for yield fruit. They don't begin for yield fruit. A nation which was only characterized by some of the worst adjectives there. Today, in the member wing, until this fateful day, the 10th of August, we change that image. You are stakeholders. That is why I think we need to engage. You don't have to vote for me. You vote for yourself and your country. If you want us to go to the past, your vote counts. It's going to count on that day. Even in the midst of all of this, talking about the economy, we meet inflation hovering around 18, 18. We bear can, if it were not for this international economic crisis, up to 9%. Single digit inflation. We clamped with the debt corruption. It's present everywhere in the world. But you should not allow it to choke the development process. And that was what was happening. We decided for FETA. We don't say the FETA way. We know that, but we accept that. But we know say we will get trained past them and we will defeat them. Just so that Sierra Leone goes ahead. We cannot afford to be begging all the time. We can be a better nation. And there are so many things for lay the foundation for that salon we will bet it. But some people don't even understand, say, now the foundation that we lay. Most of the ministry, let's say mines, if you not do the legal framework and governance structure there, it doesn't work. We just will end up with craters. We will not be able to account for to begin with. It is painstakingly slow, the development, but it has to be built on a very strong foundation. It is technical. It needs a government that is compassionate and consistent in doing good things and scaling up all the time. That is what we are doing. So, we don't use COVID-19 as an excuse. And one of the statements they made, he so rest in peace, Professor Farmer, in Harvard, say, America should go and learn from you how you dealt with your COVID. Now, one of the professors there, it just passed a few months ago. He was here, the partnership in health, Nakola. He was here several times, and when we go there, we agree for talk, and that is safe. So, ladies and gentlemen, the responsibility to the state for take very seriously. We can all belong to different parties, and we have the right to belong. But we have only one Sierra Leone that we call Sierra Leone, which is our home. And nobody dreaming now, and nobody really dreaming now. Make no mistake about the one that we see in the Ghana State House. Now that make a rush camp for Sedona State House. Maybe from where I come back, I can go sleep normally, come back to State House. And how can I with bullet too? So So no come for me with bullets. I said, I go, put me in uniform. I said, no more bullets. I've fed for 15 years. I will go there by the ballot. I'm legally seated there, and my government is legally constituted. If you want to change, the date is the 24th. A few will not go allow them to come threaten me anymore. And that should be. And one thing, that is a credit that I will give to Sierra Leone. We saw what happened in 1997. As a nation, we resisted. I appealed to the military before I left. I said, there is time for every purpose of life. My coup will be the last coup in this country. Don't try it again. When they tried, you refused this country. And that is a credit that goes to all of us. So we can be good people. And we can do great things. And we can take action. We can stop the passivity and actually take action. With all the weapons, you stood your ground. I was not here. I don't want to take that credit. Until the military government come out. We say, however, we will demonstrate this democracy, more experimental rather than we bring in any form. You refused. And that is what we have to say. We have different opinions. We can be at each other's throat, which is not necessarily the best thing. But we don't say, when we have disputes, we know they use violence. When you choose democracy, you put violence behind you. So, civil society, I don't talk too much because I'm not going to always talk. And the deficit at the trifle, I talk when it is necessary. I act all the time and talk only when it is necessary. You have to get used to certain leadership style. Not to that possible way you go propaganda, empty propaganda, embellish lies and present them as truth. No. We don't present different things then. We are faced with a situation where we need to own up to as a nation. And you being a critical part, because civil society, they are very critical. Critical in their thoughts and critical in the space. That is why I don't call them. What do we make of this? How do we prevent it? And because, somebody asked me, I had 4 people that were for income with na business. Even the Vietnam, they say, at the common I go to Vietnam, not that they read the language, I'm not sitting at the city. I go stay inside the swamp, so that they plant the rest. Because when I lack rest. And when anything when I lack, I go fena, I make sure say, that is why I went up. The people, the president, he said, they go not to just Saigon. I said, no. I said, they go to the Mekong Delta. And they go inside the swamp. I want to see how they do it. So when the people that they give me reports, they know they give me reports we I don't know about. Why do I go to that length? We left 7 o'clock in the morning until we not can take 2. Because therefore we can only go there by road. So I want to make a brainstorm, and in a very short way, and not say when I get on the thoughts, this happened, we all witnessed them, especially the one that went in at that part of the town. When I see, when I read, when I then at the cyberspace, when I see what the people that they do. And how then they incite violence, how the violence they happen, how we see the little when they try for build and the bottom, then they try for create the biggest capital of any nation, like the social capital, that which keeps us together. ina Temleman, ina Mendeman, ina Fula. That is the greatest capital for any country. We don't see people there for their selfish ends. And you read the hate message when they put tagging certain ethnic groups. That was how it started in Rwanda. So that is another thing we as a nation, we must fight against. We must talk against. We must fight it. Nobody can determine which tribe will come before you come. You are born into an ethnic group. Like it or not, you are going to be, that ethnic group. Whether you speak the language or not, even because they're born in a particular ethnic group, but they talk the language. So we have a series of problems, but we are faced with the 10th of August violence, and it's mind-boggling, and we need to find a way. So I hand you over back to the moderator. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.